Fox News contributor and president of Independent Women's Voice, Tammy Bruce, author of The Working Class Republican, Ronald Reagan and the Return of Blue-Collar Conservatism, and senior fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center, Henry Olsen, and Fox News contributor, Lisa Booth. Great to see you all. Tammy, start with you.
Well, that perfect opening. And I think what's important when it comes to what President Trump is doing is the consistency, which you've shown everyone. People think that he just came from some kind of business where he wouldn't have any opinion about what was going on internationally. But the business experience informs his opinion, of course, about what China is doing. And the difference here is that we did go through a negotiation. We were kind of at the final point of a negotiation with China, and which included them changing their own laws about how to deal with the United States, even when it came to intellectual property, the nature of allowing us even more into their own country, et cetera, opening up, if you will. When they came back about a week ago, all of that was gone. Right. And it was, never mind, we would like you to trust us. We're going to do it through regulations and things, but that's how we're going to do it. That is what they've gotten away with now for the last several presidencies, of saying, trust us, we're going to do it. That has led to this point. Trump, of course, and this is the brilliance of the lead up to this negotiation, the economy is so strong, he can say no. Yeah. He can set up a negotiation that is based in knowing what the result of his other work will be. The Chinese economy, on the other hand, is not so good. It's sputtering along. So we are in the catbird seat. This is part of a negotiation. My prediction is it may be a few weeks, but they will come back. They don't expect this, like North Korea hasn't expected the president's firm response and firm stance.
Right. And Lisa, by the way, we could have played, 10, 20, 30 clips like that of Donald Trump, decades ago, not just a few years ago, decades ago, with this incredibly clear position that is totally at odds with the establishment view, and now has proved to be right.
Well, and also has unwavered. So I actually thought that was so interesting, you bringing back those previous quotes. Tammy's right. Look, it looks like right now we've got this sort of battle of wills between the United States and China. Mnuchin said that basically we're in the final laps. Previously, this was almost a done deal, particularly on the enforcement aspect of it. And then China reneged. Right? And so now we're in this back and forth. And then the Trump administration is going to increase tariffs from 10% to 25% on that $200 billion number, and then increase it for, I think, $300 billion of goods that have been previously untouched. So now we're escalating. So I don't know where this is going to go. I will point out the caveat of the fact that there are people hurting in terms of farmers and the ag industry. And I do worry about that politically heading into 2020, because China's been smart in targeting those ag products. We've seen soybeans farmers as well, particularly getting hurt. You see individuals like Joni Ernst, senator who represents a state like Iowa, a big farming state, who said that people are hurting, right? So I do worry about that a little bit politically for President Trump heading into 2020. I assume China also understands this, which is why they targeted those goods. And they also took out an ad in Des Moines Register in Iowa last year trying to undermine Trump on trade. So I don't know where this goes. He needs to reach a deal. But he certainly has a point in the fact that China's clearly been taking advantage of us for a really long time.
Henry, Lisa makes a great point about the agricultural sector, and President Trump knows that too. In one of his other tweets, he was saying, we're going to compensate those people who are suffering from the money we're getting in from the tariffs, as basic tariffs are a tax. But also on the other side, you've got people, I made the point about washing machines, because that's a real example. You've got a washing machine, a town in Ohio based around the washing machine factory, just thriving and booming now because of what has happened here.
Well, Iowa is a state that we should take a look at, which is that there's 200,000 manufacturing jobs in Iowa. It's been a massive increase in manufacturing jobs that can be dated almost exactly to the day that Donald Trump takes office, declining for 3 years before, booming after that. It's much more important to the economy than farm. It's just not as well organized. And what Trump needs to do is just stay firm. I've written 2 pieces about this in the last 2 weeks for the Washington Post. This is the defining issue of our time. It's not just foreign policy, but it's whether we can have a national collective sacrifice in order to achieve long-term objectives. Because if we can't, then we're just going to have our lunch eaten, not just by China, but by all our adversaries in the world.
I think that's really well put. And that's why I really made the point. It's a historic shift here, what he's done. This is like, I think we'll look back and say it was the biggest and most consequential shift of the whole presidency. Anyway, much more on that ahead.